Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at a question, a question that has had philosophers and spiritual seekers kind of scratching their heads for ages.
Yeah.
Free will
Free will versus destiny.
versus destiny, yeah. And you've sent over some really fascinating excerpts from the Law of One material. And I'm really eager to kind of unpack how much control we really have, over the direction of our lives.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about the law of one perspective on this is that it doesn't frame this as like a simple either or like it's all destiny or it's all free will.
Right.
It really acknowledges kind of the influences of destiny, while simultaneously emphasizing the power of choice and how those two can coexist.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with this concept of pre-incarnational choices. The Law of One kind of suggests that our souls made decisions before we were born that shape our current lives. I mean, doesn't that sound a bit like predestination? How does that mess with free will?
It's easy to see how, at first glance that could be interpreted as predestination, but the law of one really goes deeper than that. It's not saying that, every single event is like prescripted.
Right.
Think of it more like think of these pre-incarnational choices more like blueprints for soul growth, not a fixed script dictating every event.
Okay, so it's less about predetermined events and more about kind of setting the stage for specific lessons or experiences.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah, like imagine, if you were to imagine that you're signing up for a course in like Soul School 101. You choose the subject. Maybe you choose like mastering relationships or, overcoming fear.
Mhm.
And that kind of sets the overall theme.
Right.
But the specific curriculum, the daily lessons, the way that you approach the material, that's all shaped by your choices within that framework.
That makes sense, yeah. It's like choosing the genre of your life story, adventure, romance, maybe a tragedy.
Right, right.
But you're the author writing the chapters as you go. So where does the concept of karma come in? Because, the Law of One talks a lot about karma, and I've always kind of a bit confusing.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Yeah, it's definitely a concept that often gets oversimplified, reduced to this idea of like cosmic punishment or reward.
Right.
But the Law of One presents a much more nuanced perspective on karma. It really frames it as this system of balance, a way of ensuring that actions have consequences and that we learn from those consequences.
Okay, so if it's not about punishment, how does it actually work?
Yeah.
Like, how does that play out?
Well, think back to that soul school analogy we were talking about.
Yeah.
So you choose a course on, let's say, forgiveness. Karma is kind of the system that ensures that you'll encounter situations that test your ability to forgive. These could be challenging relationships, betrayals, or even just like everyday frustrations that push your buttons. It's not that you're being punished for past mistakes. It's about being presented with opportunities to learn and grow in the area you chose to focus on.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. So instead of like fearing karma,
Yeah.
we could see it as kind of like a helpful guide, pushing us towards the lessons we need to learn.
Exactly. It becomes less about like cosmic retribution and more about like a cosmic curriculum that's designed to help us evolve. The Law of One even suggests that we can choose, our karmic lessons before incarnating.
Oh, wow.
It's as if we're saying, all right, I need to work on patience. Give me those catalysts, give me those challenging situations that will help me develop that quality.
Wow. That's quite empowering, actually. That makes it seem like we have more agency in shaping our experiences than we might realize.
Right.
But if we pre-select these challenges, wouldn't that limit our free will in the present moment? Like if I'm destined to encounter, patience testing situations, how much choice do I actually have in how I respond?
That's where the Law of One gets really fascinating because it suggests that spiritual practices like meditation and self-awareness actually enhance our free will.
Wait, how does meditating give us more free will?
Right.
Does it magically like erase our karma or something?
Not exactly. It's not like suddenly your karma's gone.
Oh.
It's more about increasing conscious awareness. Think about it this way, like we all have these pre-programmed reactions based on, past experiences and conditioning.
Yeah.
So let's say someone cuts us off in traffic, right? Our knee-jerk reaction might be anger, frustration.
Yeah.
But through meditation, through self-awareness, we start to notice those automatic reactions. We create space between the stimulus and our response.
So instead of just blindly reacting, we have a chance to choose a different path.
Precisely. Yeah. We
Yeah.
become less like robots running on, pre-programmed software and more like conscious beings with the ability to choose our responses.
Yeah.
And that increased awareness gives us more freedom to act in alignment with our highest selves, even in the face of those challenging karmic situations.
So it's like we're upgrading our operating system, becoming like less reactive and more deliberate in our choices.
That's a great analogy, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
within that space of conscious choice that we truly exercise our free will.
Hmm.
It's not about avoiding challenges or erasing karma. It's about using those experiences as opportunities for growth and evolution.
This whole idea of conscious choice really resonates with me. But how do we know, what choices are actually in alignment with our highest selves? I mean, the law of one mentions this, like this higher self is this like source of wisdom and guidance. But how do we tap into that? How do we know what that even is?
You know, the higher self it's like, imagine it as like a wise, expanded version of ourselves that exists in a higher density of consciousness.
Right.
And it's not separate from us,
Right.
but it has a broader perspective. It's
Yeah.
not kind of burdened by the limitations of our current reality.
Right.
Imagine it like this. You're climbing a mountain.
Okay.
You, in your current physical form, are focused on the next handhold, the immediate obstacles in front of you.
Right.
Your higher self, however, is like at the peak, seeing the entire path, understanding the interconnectedness of every step.
Oh, okay. So our higher self has like a bird's eye view
Hmm.
of our journey while we're down here in the trenches navigating the day to day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the law of one suggests that, we can access the wisdom of our higher self through practices like meditation, prayer, or simply, quieting the mind and listening to that inner guidance.
Yeah.
It's like tuning into a radio frequency that's always broadcasting, but we need to adjust our receiver to pick up the signal clearly.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
But if we're constantly making choices and our higher self is offering guidance, does that mean like are we ever truly like off track? Can we deviate from those pre-incarnational choices, or are we always like on a predetermined path even if it doesn't feel like it?
That is a question that takes us right to the heart of this whole free will versus destiny debate.
Yeah.
And the law of one offers some very intriguing insights on this very point. But you know what? I think that's a conversation for after a short break.
Yeah.
Let's come back and really delve into this question of whether we can actually change our destiny.
All right, so we've kind of established that these pre-incarnational choices kind of set the stage, and karma guides our growth. Spiritual practices can help us access our free will. But I think the big question still remains, can we actually change our destiny? Or are we ultimately bound by those choices that we made before we were even born?
Hmm. Well, the law of one's perspective on this is incredibly empowering, I think, because it suggests that while these pre-incarnational choices create a framework, they're not set in stone. We have more flexibility than we might realize to actually shape our path.
Okay, so we're not just blindly playing out a predetermined script.
Right.
We can actually make choices that shift the narrative.
That's the beauty of it, right? Yeah. The law of one really highlights the power of conscious choice and willpower. It suggests that by aligning with our higher self and actively choosing a different path, we can deviate from those initial blueprints.
That's really encouraging. But what about karma? I mean, if we've created like karmic entanglements in the past, are we forever bound to those consequences?
Well, the law of one offers a unique perspective on this too. It suggests that karma isn't like this static debt that needs to be paid off, but rather it's like an energetic imbalance that can be resolved through understanding, forgiveness, and really raising our vibration.
Okay, so it's not about like punishment, but about kind of restoring harmony.
Precisely. Yeah. The law of one even suggests that specific karmic patterns can be transmuted or changed through acts of service, compassion, and even simply by choosing to respond differently to those triggering situations.
That makes me think about like those challenging relationships that we sometimes encounter. Could they be seen as opportunities to work through those karmic patterns?
Absolutely.
Not just sources of frustration, but like something to learn from.
Yeah. The law of one really encourages us to see those difficult relationships not as punishments, but as opportunities for growth and healing. And by approaching those situations with compassion and understanding, we can potentially resolve those karmic knots and shift the energy dynamic.
So it's not about passively accepting those difficult circumstances. It's about kind of actively choosing to respond in a way that promotes growth and balance.
That's the essence of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
recognizing our own power to transform those challenging experiences into catalysts for evolution.
That's incredibly empowering.
Mm.
But if we're all interconnected, as the law of one suggests, wouldn't our choices also impact others?
Yeah.
Does that mean we're not only shaping our own destinies, but also influencing the collective destiny of humanity?
That's a great point. And the law of one really emphasizes that interconnectedness of all beings.
Yeah.
And it suggests that our thoughts, emotions, actions, they create ripples in the collective consciousness.
Right.
It's like throwing a pebble into a pond. The effects radiate outwards, influencing the entire system.
Yeah, so if we're all part of this interconnected web, our choices kind of carry even more weight than we might realize.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, every act of kindness, every choice for love over fear, it adds to the collective vibration. It contributes to the evolution of consciousness as a whole.
Right.
Conversely, every act of, negativity or harm perpetuates those patterns in the collective field.
Yeah, that's a sobering thought, but also like incredibly hopeful. It means that even small acts of love and compassion can have a ripple effect, contributing to a more positive future for everyone.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the law of one's perspective. It
Yeah.
it really empowers us to recognize our role as co-creators of reality. We're not just passive observers, we're active participants in this
Mhm.
in this grand cosmic dance.
Yeah, it's like we're all weaving this tapestry of reality together.
Right.
And each thread, each choice we make contributes to the overall pattern. And the law of one even mentions these groups of beings like the Confederation and the Orion Group that seem to be influencing this process on a cosmic level. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, sure. So the Law of One describes the Confederation as a group of beings from various star systems who have evolved to a higher level of consciousness, and they're dedicated to service to others.
Okay.
They offer guidance and support to those who are seeking to evolve, but they really respect free will. They don't interfere directly.
Okay, so they're like cosmic mentors, kind of offering a helping hand, but ultimately allowing us to make our own
Well,
choices.
actually, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, they represent a path of love, unity, and service to the greater good.
And what about the Orion Group? They seem to be like a little bit more focused on control and manipulation, or
Right, yeah. The Law of One suggests that the Orion Group represents a path of service to self,
Mhm.
often using deception and manipulation to gain power and influence.
Right.
They represent kind of those darker aspects of consciousness, the desire for control, dominance, and separation.
So it's like there's this cosmic battle between like light and darkness playing out, and we're all kind of caught in the crossfire.
In a way, yes, but the Law of One emphasizes that this battle isn't just happening out there in the cosmos, it's happening within each of us. Every choice we make, every thought we entertain reflects one path or the other.
Right.
Are we choosing love or fear? Unity or separation? Service to others or service to self?
That's a powerful way to frame it. It
Right.
it brings this whole concept of free will and destiny down to like a very personal level. It's not about some abstract cosmic drama. It's about the choices we're making every single day.
Exactly. The Law of One suggests that by aligning with our higher selves and choosing love, compassion, service to others, we not only shape our own destinies, but we also contribute to the positive evolution of the entire planet.
Hmm.
It's an incredibly empowering message that reminds us that we're not just pawns in some cosmic game. We're active participants in the creation of our reality.
I'm really struck by this idea that every choice matters, that we're all contributing to this collective tapestry of reality. But it also raises some questions about balance. The Law of One talks a lot about balancing our energy centers, integrating different aspects of ourselves, and even like navigating the polarities of positive and negative. Can you talk a bit about how this concept of balance relates to free will and destiny? We were talking about balance, and it's really fascinating how the Law of One emphasizes this idea of balance. We've talked about balancing our energy centers and integrating different aspects of ourselves,
Yeah.
and even like navigating polarities of positive and negative. It seems like finding that equilibrium is kind of a key part of this whole free will and destiny equation.
Absolutely, yeah. The law of one suggests that balance is really, it's essential for spiritual evolution. It's not about striving to be, purely positive or denying the shadow side of ourselves.
Right.
It's about embracing the wholeness of our being. Yeah.
The light and the dark, the yin and yang, as they say.
So instead of like suppressing those less desirable aspects of ourselves, we should kind of aim to integrate them. But I mean, honestly, that sounds a bit easier said than done.
Yeah.
How do we actually like embrace our shadow side without letting it, take over?
Well, it starts with awareness. I think that's the first step, is to really shine a light on those hidden parts of ourselves, to become conscious of the thoughts, emotions, motivations that we might typically avoid or repress.
So it's about kind of acknowledging those shadow aspects without judgment.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about recognizing that those parts of ourselves, they hold valuable lessons. They're not something to be feared or ashamed of, but rather aspects of our being that are yearning for integration and healing.
This reminds me of something you mentioned earlier about karma being an opportunity for balance.
Right. Is there a connection there?
Yeah.
Could it be that those shadow aspects are somehow tied to our karmic patterns?
That's a really insightful connection, yeah. The law of one suggests that our karmic patterns, they often stem from unresolved issues, unhealed wounds or aspects of ourselves that we've rejected or disowned. And by bringing those shadow aspects into the light of consciousness and embracing them with compassion, we can potentially release the energetic charge that's associated with those karmic patterns.
It's like those shadow aspects are holding a key to
Wow.
resolving those karmic knots.
Yeah.
It's not about punishing ourselves for past mistakes, but about understanding those experiences and integrating the lessons they offer.
That's a powerful way to put it. Yeah, it's about reclaiming those
Yeah.
lost pieces of ourselves and moving them back into the tapestry of our being.
Yeah. This whole concept of balance and integration is really resonating with me.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder, like, what's the ultimate goal of all of this? If we're constantly evolving, making choices, shaping our destinies, where are we ultimately headed?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of it all?
Well, the law of one suggests that the ultimate goal of this whole journey is to return to a state of unity with the Creator, to remember our true nature as beings of light and love, as expressions of the one infinite source.
So it's about transcending that illusion of separation.
Yeah.
And recognizing that we're all interconnected. We're all part of this grand cosmic dance.
Beautifully put. Yeah. It's about remembering that we're not separate, isolated individuals, but rather interconnected threads in the fabric of creation. And it's about returning to that state of oneness from which we all originated.
But if we're all ultimately one with the Creator, why do we even go through this whole process of separation and individuation?
Right.
Why not just like stay in that blissful state of unity?
Well, the law of one suggests that it's all about experiencing the fullness of creation, about exploring the infinite possibilities of existence. It's like we're embarking on this grand adventure, choosing to forget our true nature for a time, so that we can rediscover it anew with a deeper appreciation for the journey.
It's almost like we're playing a cosmic game of hide and seek with ourselves.
Yeah.
Choosing to forget who we truly are so that we can experience the joy of remembering.
What a beautiful way to describe it. And the law of one suggests that every experience, every choice we make, every challenge we overcome, it adds to the richness of that journey. It's all part of the grand tapestry of creation. And each thread, each individual journey contributes to the beauty of the whole.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We have explored some really profound concepts about free will, destiny, karma, the evolution of consciousness. I'm walking away with a renewed sense of empowerment, knowing that I have more agency in shaping my reality than I might have realized.
Yeah, and that's what the law of one is all about. It's about empowering us to become conscious co-creators of our own reality. It reminds us that we're not just passive passengers on this journey called life, but active participants with the ability to choose our path and contribute to the evolution of consciousness as a whole.
So to our listener out there, I encourage you to continue exploring these concepts. Ask yourself, what choices can you make today to align with your highest self? How can you use your free will to shape your destiny and contribute to a more loving and harmonious world? Remember, every thought, every action, every choice matters. You have the power to create a reality that reflects the beauty and love that reside within your heart. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep discovering the infinite possibilities that lie within you.